Good morning, sixth graders. On this beautiful Friday, yay for the weekend, we're going to talk about a very cool archaeological discovery in southwestern Minnesota near the town of Jeffries. And this little discovery is called the Jeffers Petroglyphs. So today we want to learn about what is a petroglyph. You should be able to describe to me at the end of class what a petroglyph is. Give me its definition. And then, most importantly, we should be able to explain what these petroglyphs tell us about the ancient people of Minnesota, people that lived here 8,000 years ago. So, some vital vocabulary, pretty important stuff. You need to know what a petroglyph is. So, petroglyph is a noun, and you can break it into two parts. The first part, or the prefix, would be petro. Now, petro means rock. The second word, or second part of the word, is glyph. Now, you may have heard this word if you studied ancient Egyptian history when you hear or study hieroglyphs, ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. In any event, a glyph is simply a picture or an image. Not like an image from a phone, but an image that's been hand drawn. It could be on paper or rock. So, in this case, you ram these two words together and you have petroglyph, which means a rock carving or a rock picture. In some cases, the petroglyphs are carved directly into the rock. So someone sat down with a harder rock and basically chiseled and scraped away an image into the rock. Sometimes they're painted. If you go up in the Boundary Waters, there's a couple places, one on Lac LaCroix, which is a lake up there. You can canoe right up to these petroglyphs, or what I would call rock art, right on the wall, just about at eye level. You paddle up in your canoe and you can put your hand right on these ancient, very old rock pictures that someone had put up there. Now, keep in mind, this is before written language. The Sumerians in the Middle East were the first people to create a true written language, and that was 5,500 years ago. So some of these petroglyphs in Minnesota are 5,000 years before that. So this was very early communication, very early ways of expressing oneself. And of course, they had a spoken language, but a written language was a little bit more of an advanced thing. So this is kind of the bridge to that. So right here is a video link. Your teacher can go ahead and play this when I'm done, or you can pause it, play it, whatever, which one you want. But here's some examples of some Jeffers petroglyphs. You have what appears to be a handprint there. Every time I look at this, the little two hairs stand up on the back of my neck, because I think about this. 10,000 years ago, someone put their hand down on that rock and traced around their fingers and hand, and then carved out the inside. It's a very personalized rock carving. It's like saying, I was here. This picture here in the middle is some sort of animal, maybe a deer, maybe bison. Kind of hard to tell, but it's an animal. And think about why that would be important to these ancient people. Once again, over here, another sort of an animal drawing, I think. Not a hand, but maybe something else. And honestly, scientists don't know what these stand for, all of them, or their significance. So sometimes it's kind of nice to let your mind wander and daydream and look at these and think, why did they put this on here, and what is it? So there's 5,000 of these carvings on this hillside right out in the middle of a prairie in southwestern Minnesota. And as time has gone by, people have discovered more and more of those. And it was turned into a state park and protected so people can't go out there and destroy things. And like I said, they find new ones every summer. They peel back the sod and the grass which is growing on top of the rocks, and they find more of these. Some of the carvings are over 7,000 years old, as I mentioned earlier. Um, I think I'll go the wrong way here. And once again, this was a yearly travel spot, yearly event. Native Americans, as we'll learn in the next unit, move from place to place 2 or 3 times a year based on the seasons and resources. This spot, it seems, was a once per year visit to Jeffers Petroglyphs, and the Native Americans who would survive the winter and live to come down here and in Jeffers and carve something on the rock felt that this place was almost religious or spiritual because a lot of the images have something to do with their mythology and their beliefs. It was sacred, it was important to them. And like I said, it was a way of kind of marking, hey, I made it another year, I survived, and then leaving something behind. Okay, so after you watch this video, when I'm done talking here, your teacher will hand you a sheet of paper that looks like this. It's on 2 sides. Obviously, put your name on it because you will hand this in. So you'll watch the video and you've listened to me. What I've done here for the first part 1, is I've put down 4 pictures of petroglyphs. Remember that rock art. This is from Minnesota. The first thing I want you to do for every single one of these is just describe what it looks like. What is this? What do you think it is? Then after you've described what you think it is, tell me, what do you think this symbol stands for? Why did someone choose to put this on a rock? What's its significance? What's its importance? So what's this stand for? And there's 4 of them, like I said, and I tried to make them so that you could see them. Then the second part on the back page is, okay, you've looked at these, you saw the video. Now I want you to create your own story. This is where you can really let your mind wander and get creative. If you want to use colored pencils for this, you can. If you just want to use your regular pencil, that's fine too. But I want you to create a story about a person's life who lived 7,000 years ago. And I've given you some symbols here just to get you started, right? There's no words in this box down here, but you're going to create a story about someone's life who lived 7,000 years ago. Now, this was a time before electricity. This was a time before television, internet, and phones. And you could see that a lot of the images up here go with a very ancient lifestyle. So put yourself in the shoes of someone who lived 7,000 years ago, maybe a child your age, and make up a little story about their year. Make up a story about maybe how they went hunting for the first time and they shot a buffalo and they provided food for their village. Or maybe you want to talk about how there was a rainstorm that flooded everything, or people made friends. There was a new chief. There's all sorts of symbols up here to get you started. And frankly, if you want to come up with a new symbol on your own, you most certainly can. This is your personalized story. The symbols mean what they mean to you, to say it in a funny sort of way. The symbols are very personalized. So go ahead and do that. Complete your story down here. And if you want to, you can write out what your story means below. You don't have to do that. I kind of enjoy figuring these out sometimes. But if you wanted to kind of give me a hint, you can always do that below. When you're complete with this, turn it to your teacher, and then I will collect them for your teacher. The final thing you have to do then is you need to go to Google Classroom, and under this week, sorry, I'm doing my work as I'm talking to you, as you go to the Jeffers Petroglyphs, which is the 918 work for today, there is a nice little video for you, or excuse me, not a video, a nice little quiz for you to watch. Okay, so if you open this up, it should be working, but it's not. There will be a quiz here. I promise you, there'll be a quiz here to take. Okay. And you go ahead and take that quiz. It's really short, 5 or 6 questions. And then when you're done, make sure that you have turned everything in properly. Make sure it's submitted. And then you are done. You can work on your big five. You can work on your states and capitals. Do a good job on those states and capitals. That will be something very important coming in October. We'll probably have a little quiz about that. So, any questions, ask your teacher. Otherwise, thank you very much and have a good day.